How you doing, Mr. Davis?
How you doing?
When I look back on my life, I sit here and I just making sure that I know that I want these youths to see this to make sure they don't make the same mistakes I've done. Because like C.O. Davis right here, when he lost his son, back in the days, a lot of people would have been glad that happened to him. He a police, the hell with him. But everybody was concerned, made him cards. Everybody signed it and, really felt bad. And who would think we will feel that way about a CO, something happened to his family, and what I admire the most is that he still have his job. He didn't snap and, do something he didn't have no business doing, because the average person, at least for me, when we was out there gang banging and getting in trouble, we didn't have no patience to, after the funeral, we couldn't wait to go get who did it, or before the funeral, before we planted it and getting the money together for the funeral to get to the parents and all that. We already ready to attack. And that's all I know. So that's why I admire Davis so much, because he had enough discipline, enough sense not to seek revenge. Because when you die, especially if you under 25, ain't nothing cool about that. What's cool is when you die and you got your family that's left, your children around the bed, either at the hospital or at your home, and you taking your last breath and they looking at you and saying, I love you. Ain't nothing cool when your parents gotta bury their kid. And that is why I have C.O. Davis here with me today, because I need for the youth to see that there's a lot of people that lived in the streets, that grew up different, they think different. And the way I grew up, that's all we knew. So if one of my friends got killed, we finna go get them dudes. I don't care if it's 3 or 4, we want their family to feel like that. When we at the funeral and they putting that casket in the ground, and the mother and the father and the people in the family in the front, they crying and all that, we like, oh no, let's go right now. And here it is. This man, I'll take my hat off to him, because I'll be honest with you, I thought you was going to trip out. And I'm just thankful that you had enough sense and discipline not to, and I just admire you about that. I mean that from my heart.
Well, I appreciate it. So I'm Officer K. Davis at San Quentin State Prison. I've been here for 28 years, and I'm going to speak about the death of my son, Keith Austin Bradley Davis. He was born June 28, 1993. He died December 28, 2012. My son was home from serving 3 years in YA, and he was killed 6 days later. When he got home, he and I talked about going to college and all this, and that was his plans, or our plans. But he met with his street family people, as he called them, his street family, and they convinced him to cut off his monitoring device. And so he wouldn't pick up the phone and contact me when I tried to reach him. But I'm saying this to say my son spent 3 years in YA and then was killed 6 days later because of a choice that he made to go with his street family. And I identify what Kiki said about street family, street justice. The way I maintained my composure, yes, as a father, as a man, and as a correctional officer, I hurt. Losing my only child hurt me tremendously. I have cousins who are not law-abiding. He has cousins who are not law-abiding. But I took it upon myself to tell them it stops here. There's no need for the retaliation. The reason I did that was all it was going to do was perpetuate. If I sent them out there to do anything, they were going to send their people back out after them, after me, after his mother, and all that. So I made a decision myself to stop it. There's no need for violence. And I want to speak on what Kiki was talking about as far as family. Family is your mother, father, sister, and brothers, your siblings, aunts, uncles, things of that nature. My son grew up in a two-parent household. And like his parents did, we eventually divorced. So his mom had him part of the time, I had him part of the time. When he became 12 years old, he told the court that he wanted to come live with me. And as a single parent, I told my son, I depend on you to be independent. I'm going to provide you with everything. I'm going to provide you with the love, the home, the school, and everything else for you to become successful, which I thought my son was embrace. As Kiki said, the lure of the streets for a kid that has someone who is providing them the love and the nurturing, the lure of the streets is tremendous. You know, he see the guys out there with the cars at 15, the Nikes, the all the latest gear and all that. That lure is tremendous for a 15, 17-year-old young man, which my son was at the time. So he took it to meaning that being on the street, they were showing him love. They were showing him how to weight drugs, how to sell drugs, how to use drugs, all these other things. And so he chose to be amongst them and forgot about his family. As far as family, I mean his natural family, his father, his mother, brother, so on and so forth. And that hurt me, that my son would choose to go out to be with people who were perfect strangers at one time, to the people who bore him into the one were one, the ones who raised him, the ones who really loved him. So it went on, and he became a part of them. They became his family in his mind. On December 28th, when my son died at 1 a.m. in the morning, I had no idea. One of the people from the streets called me and told me that my son was dead. I was at work sitting at my desk when I got that phone call. Can you imagine your parent being at his place of business and received that phone call? First, it was a disbelief. I couldn't believe it. Nah, didn't happen. Then she called me back and told me, yes, it is him. So I called, made arrangements to get off work. As I drove to Oakland from San Quentin, I cried. And I was looking out the window of the car, and I was seeing how the people were reacting to me, crying, them not understanding. Once I get to my destination was Oakland Police Department. OPD came out. One of the sergeants, Sergeant Fleming, worked at OPD, who knew me from here. And he identified my son and told me he was down at the morgue. So as I talked to him about the case factors, I had to leave there to make the identification. My son was hit 6 times in the body with an AK-47. And he had no back of his head. I'm a pretty big person, and I've seen a lot of things in my life growing up in East Oakland. So I was used to death. But I saw that knock me to the ground. I say this as a parent, as a man, that nothing like that could affect me, but it did. Then I thought out, and I sought out those who killed my son. I know everybody who participated in my son's death. I know the circumstances of why he died, because it was a case of mistaken identity. He was with an individual that had robbed someone, and that person wanted them. So just because he looked like someone, and they knew that my son was not that person. They knew that. It's so hard to believe that people could put such a value on life that it means absolutely nothing, that they're willing to get their intended victim, they will kill someone totally innocent. And like I said, I know who they are. Can I retaliate? Yes. Do I want to retaliate? Yes. Would it be the right thing for me to do? No. The reason I say no is because, like I said earlier, it just perpetuates the situation.